Today, it's got nothing in it. That's how I feel. Um, Good evening, Cherries fans. Good evening, West Ham fans. Good evening, football fans in general. Welcome to Up the Cherries in all departments and our free for all show. The link is in the description to join the room as well. If you really do want to talk about it, maybe you're a West Ham fan and just want to put a smile. Well, try and put a smile on our faces. You won't do it. We have got with us today Mr. Matthew Harrison. How you doing, Matt?
I've had better days.
Stupid question, isn't it? Very, very stupid question. Oh, we already have somebody here. Let's bring him on. He's already walking around the room. It is Sam Harrison, poor man, James Corden fan. Oh, have you just watched my piece with Tony Cotti on Talk TV? We should ask Tony Cotti to come on, shouldn't we? See what he's got to say. Although, let's be honest. Let's start with that. Actually, he was quite complimentary of us, wasn't he? You know,
Who?
you
Sorry.
said Tony Cotti.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. So effectively, he said really only need one more win. You know, Gary O'Neill's done a very good job. See, there we go. And yes, I think that was probably about all you can recite from that game, really. Also, though, I did mention, of course, Antonio, and we'll discuss Antonio Bowen and all that. So, going into this game, well, I'll tell you what, let's start with these comments. Do please join us. There is 7 on YouTube. There's a lot more on Facebook and a lot more on Twitter at this moment in time. It could well go mad. Max put that, I'm guessing, before the match kicked off, yes. Donald Maxwell, world beaters one game, then panel beaters the next. John Bond, evening John. Crap. I think that's probably one word to sum it up quite nicely. Good evening, AFCB Fan TV. Legend Craig. And Manchester City versus Manchester United final FA Cup. John Bond has tried to drill home his comment of crap with rubbish. 918 subscribers. John Bond's gone wow to that. And we already have a West Ham fan here. Up the hammers. Oh dear. That was fucking easy. Can we play you every week? You are shit. I don't know if we can really disagree with that at this moment in time, especially after that game, but we'll come to that. 15th table points, Bournemouth 33. So, yeah. And Wayne Walden, good evening, guys. Just like to say, Bournemouth will stay in the Premier League next season. I am 100% sure from a Fulham fan. Thank you again, Wayne, for joining us. So, when we went for our pre-match pint, there was a lot of optimism, wasn't there?
Depends on what you mean by optimism. I predicted a 2-2 draw.
Well, not getting beat 4-0.
No, but it was always going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Especially with them coming off the back of that decent win in the Conference League.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, they need the points like we do at the moment. So yeah. I always thought it was going to be a difficult game. To be fair, I was quite impressed with him today.
Yeah.
I thought Declan Rice was probably their best player. Antonio was a handful up top. And we just didn't turn up, really, did we? Got to be honest.
No, very much so. I've got to be honest. Got to give credit to West Ham. of course, they won midweek against Ghent. They looked very, very good midweek. From what I saw of it, and I guess they brought that into today, didn't they? Really?
They
Oh yeah,
did.
yeah, of course they did. Um, they, for me, they shouldn't be down there anyway.
No.
No, I agree. I
Um,
agree.
when you look on the quality that they've got, I would say their biggest thing is that they could probably do um, with another striker,
Hmm.
um, but they're scoring goals from other positions as well. So, which obviously they've shown today. But
Hmm.
other than that, I think on paper that they are a decent side.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Somebody has, I think we've got a West Ham fan, really enjoyed the game today. That might be my cousin. He is a West Ham fan. Um, we have got quite a few
Uh-huh.
irons and should have scored a 3-0 down and should have scored 8. Well, what did you? Let's start off with the lineups firstly. What did you make of the lineups?
One key thing I didn't think of until after the game was actually that Sensei was on the bench.
Mm,
Um, that was, to be fair, thinking about it after, Sensei should have definitely been on that pitch
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's too much twinkling with the team, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, has he ever kept the same lineup for more than one game? Um, Possibly we maybe, you know, the formation we played today worked against Spurs.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and that formation I would use. I like that formation, but that
Mm,
formation, I don't think I would have used today against West Ham. Not
no,
just because we lost. I was surprised that we were playing it.
yeah.
Um, in, at the start of the game when they released the teams. I think definitely I'd agree with what Sam's just said. Um, was he on the bench because he's still got a niggle or or what? I just don't understand if he was fit, why did he not play?
Mm. But
Um,
we've got this Barnier though. This or what I used to call Zabarini. I made him Italian all of a sudden, but Zabania is meant to be a quality player. With some real talent. And why are we not utilizing him?
um, you have to ask your mate O'Neill on that one.
yeah,
Um, yeah, who knows? We haven't
Mm,
really seen much of him at all. Was he made one sub appearance? Was that it?
three,
yeah.
4 minutes, wasn't it?
Obviously Stevens can't play against Saints,
Mm.
so he may get a chance there. But um, yeah, yeah, it's a little bit on the team selection for me today. I didn't quite understand.
Yeah,
And
it was.
I think that's where he does have his downfall, and I can see why some some of the support don't back him.
The problem is that he's got it right against Spurs, so he
Yeah.
got that spot on. He also, and actually, we had this conversation on the way home, didn't we, about Spurs? So we'll come to that in a second. But he turned the game on its head against Fulham. We beat Leicester. I think he got that to a T. So there is things that it. I think there's things that he's getting right, but we were struggling with the deep crosses into the box today. That was something that we just couldn't cope with them. We knew what Antonio was going to bring, and he bought it. He is a battering ram. He's somebody who has got pure strength, will hold the ball up, and they've got Declan Rice. Don't get me wrong, West Ham I think are playing a lot better now than they have been all season, but at the same time, today just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what you're saying about West Ham, there, I spoke to an old school friend who is a Hammers fan, and he was saying, because I was saying to him, I thought they played well, and you wouldn't think
Mm-hmm.
they'd be in the position they were in, and he seems to think that it's all just starting to click together.
Yeah.
And he watches West Ham all the time, so he will definitely know. So, but on our part, I think also we struggled with the counter.
Mm,
And we struggled in both boxes, whether we were defending or whether we were trying to score. Um,
yeah.
you know, sometimes we need to shoot on sight, as they say,
Yes.
Yeah.
rather than trying to dribble the ball through the
Yeah.
box, hit it. I'd much rather see us, put loads of shots wide and hitting the post and stuff. At least you're having a go. When Solanke takes too many touches and loses the ball in the penalty area, what good's that?
Mm, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And not faulting Solanke, he works hard every single game, but sometimes, and quite a bit over this season, pretty much every game, there'll be times when he's taking that ball just one step too far when he should be,
Mm,
Sam will be stood next to me going, shoot, he should be shooting now. And he doesn't. A couple of times where we did have some shots today, we did force the keeper to make a save.
yeah.
Um, but this just you go from being on such a high
Mm,
from that Spurs win to today. It's kind of is sums up the season really, doesn't it? It's been up and down, isn't it,
mm.
all season?
Well, just got a comment, and I want to show you this one, Matt, because what have you been saying all season with regards to Gary O'Neill?
That's Kyle's comment, our Man United friend, um,
Yes.
who I'm sure is very happy this evening. Um,
Mm,
yeah, no, and he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, you got David Moyes and you've got Gary O'Neill. You got David Moyes that's probably too loyal to the players.
mm,
Wants to start the same team every week. Yet you get the impression with Gary that he's loyal to certain players
Yes.
and wants them to start every week, but then again twinkers elsewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of upsets the balance.
A
yeah.
big point about that is, for example, at half time, he subs off Joe Rothwell for Kiefer Moore and obviously brings Billing a bit back. At the end of the day, Joe Rothwell was having a good game, passing the ball well. I'd have
Agree.
kept him on and taken Billing off. But because, favours Billing, kept him on the pitch. That's a
Mm,
situation there where I think sometimes you just have to make the decision and take the player off.
yeah.
You're upsetting the game by bringing him back. Keep the player that's been playing well in that position on, and then just make the change elsewhere.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, and it's just frustrating for me because I think you know there is that where we played well against Spurs, and I just don't know why things have been changed. I don't know why things have been changed. Atara, I've got to be honest, when he come on, looked very, very good.
Mm.
He looked very, very good. So yeah, it's one of those. We've got a couple of other comments. We won't beat Southampton, I guess that means. I think we. Let's talk about that game, the Southampton game that is coming up. Personally, I think Southampton have shown that they're one of the poorest. Well, they are the poorest team in the league for me. I think that we really let ourselves down when they came to Dean Court. But what do you guys think? with regards to ahead of that game, it would have been better to be going into that off the back of a win. But we have recently been lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, haven't we? We have shown that inconsistency in the results. So I think, could this be a kick up the backside?
It needs to be to, at the end of the day, we're on 33 points. One win should pretty much keep us safe, but we haven't got that one win yet. And it was dismal today. It was dismal. And at the end of the day, I was looking forward to probably turn up today, hopefully get a point against a tough opponent, West Ham, and then going to Southampton, getting the 3 points now. I'm thinking, do you know what? If we have the same team and play like that, even Southampton, who are playing poor, have still got a great chance of beating us. No game is in the Premier League, you can't predict any game, really, can you? Anyone could beat anyone.
We do have a couple more comments here as well. I'm going to try and skip some of them because some of them are just messing around. But Anthony Herbert, what the hell happened today, Paddy? Never going to be able to lift that, lose that name, am I? That nickname. Although saying that, James Corden, poor man's James Corden is what I've been compared to now. How many nicknames are we going to have? Yeah, I think you're still Uncle Bryn.
No, I've told you this, Alan Stubbs, mate.
Alan Stubbs. If we've got a free transfer from Everton of Alan Stubbs. Facebook user, I don't know who this is. Stop trying to walk it in. Test the keeper. You don't know what he's going to be like until you hit a ball at him.
But that's again very good point.
Yeah.
Who's that? Kyle, is it?
Oh yeah, he's spot on there again.
Yeah.
You have to test the keeper. Have to.
What would Harry Redknapp say? Well, I don't think he'd be very impressed with that performance, do you?
No.
And Max will be on in 5 minutes. But we do have David Cadell in the background. How are you doing, David?
Well, that wasn't a great day, was it?
Oh, it was awful, mate. It was absolutely awful. Where are you joining us from?
So I'm at home. I actually went to a bar today to watch it with a group of, actually one other Bournemouth fan. We're trying to set up a watch party, and we were with a bunch of West Ham fans. So it wasn't that fun. But on the other hand, there were Newcastle fans around the corner watching their game, and they were very happy. So.
Yeah. And of course, you're calling in from the US as well, aren't you? So yeah, good to.
So I was at the West Ham when we played West Ham away. I was there for that game, and it was like that today. It was just we just didn't show up. I don't know what went wrong today, but our defense was awful. We gave away. I mean, the first 2 goals. It's like, where were they? What were they doing? And then we just didn't come back into it. It's so sad because you see the Tottenham game and you think, oh, we finally turned a corner. We got 2 wins in a row, and then we go and play like that.
Yeah.
And Bill Foley was there, so I don't think he was that happy about it. I don't know. Southampton's going to be a tough game. I was at that game too when we lost at home, and the performance today reminded me of the way we played against them that day. They were all over us, and Southampton were good against Arsenal. I mean, they were, they conceded 2 goals in the last minute, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover, and I don't think Leeds is going to be a walkover. I don't think we're safe yet. I agree with the other people. I think we need at least 1 more win, and maybe even 2. And we, today it was like we were on the beach, and we were already thinking we were safe.
Yeah.
And it was like an early morning kickoff, and they went out last night, and whatever. I don't know. It's just like it was not a good performance.
Tony Cottee says that Gary O'Neill's done a good job. I'm all for Gary O'Neill, as everybody knows. Sam, you're, of course, you've got opinions that we should have got somebody else. Matt, what would you say? Before or after, you've always been quite supportive of Gary O'Neill, haven't you? But after that,
not just after that, certain games this season, he seems to. I mean, we've got to understand he's obviously, transitioning from a coach to a manager, and
Yeah.
he's doing it in the Premier League, which a lot of people don't start their careers in the Premier League as
Yeah.
managers. So he is learning, but you can see where he tactically falls short sometimes, and sometimes with his substitutions as well. A bizarre.
Yeah.
Like if you cast your mind back to which game was it, and we all sat there going, "That's just mad. What's he doing?" Was it the Leeds away game?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Leads away when we did the watch along.
Uh,
We was 3-1 up, and it was just fell apart. I thought we'd moved on from that though. I thought, what we did. Okay, yes, some people picked up on the Arsenal game where we was 2-0 up and lost 3-2, but that's Arsenal. I thought we had moved away from that because against Liverpool, we did well. We held that result out. Against Leicester, we held that result out. Fulham, we come back. So I thought he's learned and he's progressed to a point where, okay, that's not so much of a concern anymore. But that's where I am. Oh, David,
Yeah,
are you for or against him?
I got mixed feelings because I was actually getting into people on Facebook who are very supportive of him.
Hmm.
First of all, let's get something right. The personal attacks on him, calling him a clown and a PE teacher. There's no need for that. I mean,
No.
the guy is doing the best job he can, and I
Mhm.
think he's a decent bloke who's actually, I think, a fairly good coach, a very good coach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's different from being a coach to being a manager, right? And to be fair to him, I think it's he's learning on the job. I'm just not sure that the Premier League is the best place to learn on the job.
Yeah, I do get that.
The other problem with him is I don't know what his philosophy is. I think he did well against Liverpool. I think we did well against Leicester, and I think we did well against Spurs, and he deserves credit for that. And those people who aren't giving him credit for that need to also look in the mirror and say, "Well, wait a second. If you're going to criticize him for when he gets things wrong, give him credit when he gets things right."
Right.
Having said that, I hope he keeps us. There's some people saying, "Well, some people want him to fail and for us to go down just to prove." No, I want us to succeed. I want us to stay up.
Yeah.
But if we stay up, do I think he's the right person to take us to the next level? I have my doubts about that. I think it would be very hard to let him go if we stay up because he will have made that a success of staying up. But if Foley really wants to go to the next level, I think we need a manager who has a philosophy, who has a experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the Premier League. I like Knutson. I don't know why he why he didn't get appointed, but back in the World Cup break, something must have happened with that. And it's also true that people also need to give people time. I mean, I don't want to be a Watford. I don't want to be firing a manager every time we get a bad run of results. And I will give Foley credit that he and Hughes kept Gary when a lot of people were saying it's time for him to go. So, I mean, we don't want to be a Watford where every time we get 3 bad results we have a new manager, right? We want to have some stability. So let's get behind him. Let's hope we can stay up, and then let the decision makers reevaluate at the end of the season.
Totally agree. Totally agree with that.
Completely agree. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in Max, just very quickly. Hello, Max. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
And yeah, we've got David. We've got a ongoing running joke that I look like somebody from Emmerdale. So hence the name Paddy Kirk, and also I've started to get compared to a poor man's James Corden.
I'm sure that'll cheer you up, won't it?
Well, I tell
I'm
you
not
what.
sure I'm not sure which is the greater insult, to be honest.
But let's go back to that point because I think, and this is my honest opinion, is stay up or go down. I think Bill Foley, and I might be completely wrong in this, I think Bill Foley will make the change regardless.
I personally think if we stay up, he'll be given a few games next season, and if he doesn't, if results don't go the way early next season, I think that's when he make a change.
I disagree with that. I think you need to give whoever's going to be the manager the off season to get the team sorted. So if you're going to make a change, and let's say we stay up and Gary's done it, I would then go. I actually would like to keep Gary as a coach, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But that's going to be hard to do with some of the managers because they tend to have their own people that they want to bring in and stuff. But if we could find a way, I don't know if he would accept that having been a manager, or whether he would prefer to go down a league or two and be a manager and put his own stamp on it. But what I don't want to do, if we're gonna keep him, then you got to give him more than a few games in the season. So I think if you make a change, you got to do it at the off season.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that actually. I think it might be a case where if at the end of the season, we've stayed up, I think even if we go down, I think, the decision will be made to bring in somebody with maybe that little bit more experience of getting out the championship. The problem is Gary hasn't got experience of either. And I'm a big supporter of Gary's. I think I've met him in person. He's very, very clued up, lovely guy to speak to. And firstly, I completely echo what you said about some of the personal attacks is horrible, really, really horrible and nasty, and it's not what Bournemouth fans stand for.
Right.
But I think personally, based on today, and I think it could be a case where Bill Foley goes, right, okay, what we'll do is we'll bring in somebody with the experience in the Premier League or in the Championship. Gary
or somebody from Europe who's got some European experience. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have experience. I mean, look at the guy who's at Reims, right? Doesn't even have a UEFA coach, and they're storming the French league, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's so hard though, because I agree with you. I think Gary, from what I had not met Gary, one thing I like about Gary is he never gets too up and he never gets too down, right? So when we win, it's not like the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's just like, oh, we won, now we go on to the next day. And when we lose, I know it frustrates people, but he doesn't get really upset. So, which reminds me a little bit of Eddie, because I think Eddie used to do that. Eddie never used to get too high or too low. He always remained calm. But I don't know. Today was such a disappointment because, I wish I was into the West Ham fans. I wish we played you 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think they have come on leaps and bounds since earlier on in the season. I thought they were very, very poor. I saw their game against, I think it was Everton as well. I watched the game of theirs, and they were shocking. They were really, really poor. Today I think West Ham, you got to give them credit. They were very, very good. Do have a couple of things and in the comments, and actually these are worth discussing. He may walk. Who wants to start with that?
He may get a job offer if he doesn't think he's got the commitment here. He may decide that he'll go outside. I don't know, but on the other hand, why would he walk when he's got a contract for the next year, 6 months or a year?
I don't think he'll walk.
No,
I can't see that.
I think he'll be pushed because, like you say, with these contracts these days, why would he walk away from a payout?
Right, but the payout's not going to be that great because he's only got. I think he was given 18 months, right? So it would be a year's payout, basically.
Yeah, it won't be the greatest. But I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a quitter, really. I think he's... I know he knows about the negative press, doesn't he, Craig? They know...
Yeah.
You have to ignore it. If you're in that position, you're not on Twitter. I don't think Gary's on... He might be on have a Twitter account.
He is on Twitter, and I know for a fact that he is aware of some
Right.
of what is going on, on there, which is sad,
Personally,
really.
if I were him, I would come off it and not look at it because
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, each of us can make our decisions and spout out what we think, right? That's social media. But at the
yeah,
end of the day, you're talking about a person's lively life and person that, just some of the stuff, the clown stuff in particular, was like uncalled for.
yeah. There's even worse stuff than that, David, on there, unfortunately. But it's one of those. Max's internet's gone to shite. So his internet's as poor as we were today.
It sounds like the internet access at Vitality, right? Crap.
One sec, guys. Donald Maxwell, he left Liverpool, so he walked from Liverpool.
No,
That's
but he was a youth team coach at Liverpool. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
come on,
exactly. It's different.
that's very different than
it was a step up. It
it
was
was a step up to come
Yeah,
to Bournemouth. And
yeah,
honestly, I prefer him to Sean Parker. Or Scott Parker.
yeah,
Sean Parker. Scott Parker. I'm making up names again. But
yeah,
Scott Parker. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have Gary any day of the week over Scott.
yeah. Definitely. Welcome back, Max.
yeah.
We will come to you in a sec. Jamie Williams, good to have you with us, Jamie. Thank you so much. Simply put, we haven't got the players to break teams down and play with the football. We have to counter-attack to be effective. Set pieces defending is Sunday league level. Gary O'Neill will not progress us. That is something that I said as well, didn't I? Earlier on in the season, was this set pieces were that I think Jack Stevens has improved it, but to the point today, it felt like we just regressed. Now, is it a problem that when we have Metham in the team, that we can't cope with the set pieces? Is it that Senesi and Jack Stevens can cope with that, or is it a case that I just don't get it? Don't get it.
I think that personally, I think the real problem we're having, although I think he's been a great servant to our club, is Adam.
Yeah.
I think he's past it. He
Yeah.
hasn't got the speed
Yeah.
anymore that he had once before. I look at the bench, and I said today I thought the bench had some of the better players on the bench than we did on the team. I would have Vino in there from the beginning. I would put Senesi and Stevens because I think they are a better pairing. Although I think the new guy will be good too, but I think he needs to grow into it.
Yep.
Dango today was weird. He was giving the ball away and play. I mean, it's just and unfortunately, Kelly has played well the last two games, but today he was awful.
Yeah, I completely agree. We said that, didn't we, Matt, as well, about Lloyd Kelly was disappointing again.
But again, I hate the fact when people start booing him at the stadium and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, booing players doesn't actually make them improve. It just kind of gives them less confidence, right? It's better to say nothing than boo. I mean, the booing, I don't understand why anybody boos our players ever.
It's counterproductive, isn't it? We're all there for the one, reason, which is to get the 3 points for our side, and booing just, helps the opponents. So
what's interesting is I actually prefer away games, right? Because when you go to away games, the fans really do get behind the team, generally speaking. Home games, I don't know, it's just like sometimes I feel like people go there to complain. There used to be, I used to joke that I used to go to the games in the 70s and I sat in the main stand, the old main stand, and there were two old guys there who reminded me of the Muppet Show, who sit in the box. Like there were two old guys who spent their time criticizing everything that the team did. And believe me, under John Benson, you would criticize what we saw under John Benson. Yeah, even today was better than what we saw under John Benson. So
we've also got Anthony Herbert. The comment, is this the Bournemouth Late Show with James Gordon? LOL. Jokes, Craig. Please, President. Cheers, Anthony. You're more than welcome on, mate, if you're available. So yeah, just jump on.
Yeah, come on, people, jump on. Don't be on Facebook.
Exactly. I don't know who this is. Facebook user.
I
I
do.
think you go on.
Is it Emma Martin?
Yes, Emma Martin. You're right, Emma. Come on, get yourself on it. I think you guys will be safe from relegation as you've had some great results recently that gave you that cushion, albeit small. It will be just enough. I think you will keep your manager. He just needs time. He will learn how to use his players better when they work to their strengths.
If we were in League One, I would
Yeah.
say that last point was valid.
Exactly.
Right? But we're not. We're in the Premiership. Yeah, we can't. You can't be learning on the job in the Premiership. You got to get it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to. It's a bit, okay, yes, Eddie got his opportunity, didn't he? Back then, and we were in League Two. We were in
And
League Two.
we had no other choice, right? I mean, back then,
Yeah,
Eddie was the only one who would be willing to take the job at that money that they had, which was no
yeah.
money.
I,
It's
I
quite a
think,
good choice to have, wasn't it? Option to have.
Craig, to be honest with you, it's no comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie took the job at, when we were, well,
Mhm.
how else we get in the shit. Right, he took the job on, done miraculously well, grew into the job. Yeah, he's had
Yeah.
he's at a level, he's at a level of football which is completely different.
Mhm.
You can't compare Gary O'Neill starting management with Eddie Howe's. No way.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
Absolutely no way.
I mean, the choice back then was Eddie or Eddie or Eddie or Eddie or Eddie.
Or the
Really,
team.
or Cherry Bear. I think it was down to Cherry Bear or Eddie. I mean,
Even that was better than Jimmy Quinn.
Well, let me tell you,
Yeah.
we've had some bad managers in our time, but
Just going through the rest of these comments, I've lost where I am up to. West Ham have been great. It's just been the last week we have woken up. I think is that from Emma Martin as well, Matt?
Yeah.
Excellent. Come on, get yourself on here, Emma. Max has put one sec, guys, earlier on. And here we are. Our set piece defending setup at corners is wrong, and that's on the coaches. We've conceded another goal similar to that against Palace today with Rice's. Nobody covering edge of box for the second balls. Yeah, I can't disagree with that, to be honest. I think the set piece setup has been poor.
the other thing that I think was bad today was Billing was playing deep again, and when he plays deep, he's not in the position that he's at his best. He's better further up the field. So I don't know why that was, but
Yeah, you see, this goes back to that point, Craig, I think I was making earlier. Billing needs to play higher up the field. But when he wants to change things, he always seems to want to leave Billing on rather than maybe taking him off and putting someone on that would be better in that position.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
yeah.
It's it's like Rothwell today. I thought he was playing the ball round that park in the first half. He was the best passer of the ball in that game in the first half for us.
Yeah.
But he goes and takes him off, and then drops Billing deeper. Well, I would have subbed Billing personally.
Is there a parrot in the room, Matt?
Why have you said the same thing?
I just said that 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Max, you're sat there very, very quiet.
It's like
Go on.
Groundhog Day.
Thinks he changed.
He's not normally this quiet. Go on, far away. Set pieces, result. Go on. The room is yours. Tell us what you're thinking.
Do you want to know a fact? Every goal we conceded today was from a cross or a set piece.
Yeah.
Antonio in the 4th minute. Second one, didn't try to put a foot in when Cresswell put a ball in the box. It was a good ball. I'll give him credit for that. And let Paqueta get the head on it. I mean, yeah, Neto was just stood there. I would have expected him to dive for it. The corner he didn't dive for. And the cross from Cresswell when Paqueta went to head it. should have read it, to be honest, and dived for it. But to be honest, I'm actually speechless, mate. I didn't expect 4-0. Like, I was speaking to Sam in the pub earlier with you guys. Was like he said it will either play amazingly like we did against Spurs, or we will absolutely just flop. And what did we do? We flopped. I'm not being funny. As much as I love this club, I don't get how we go from beating Tottenham, who lost 6-1 today against Newcastle. We beat them 3-2, not our own ground. We beat them away at White Hart Lane, or whatever the stadium's called. But then we go and lose to West Ham, who were 3 points below us. Correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. In our own backyard. I wouldn't mind maybe a 2-1 loss because they're fighting for the points more than us. But you don't lose at home 4-0. Right, come on. 4-0 is a joke.
But West Ham played against the Belgian team on Thursday, and they played well, right? West Ham is on its way up. Spurs, yeah. I think West Ham played well today. The only good thing about today is we can't play like that again, hopefully, on Thursday, because we can only do better.
I was going to say that. I was hoping that this game would be a one-off. I was saying to even Matt, I was saying to Sam, I was saying to my granddad who took me today. I said, look, this is definitely going to be a one-off because I've not watched many Bournemouth games like that in my life.
And that was like, probably the worst performance.
Bournemouth beating Tottenham will probably be a one-off.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but how can we go from playing like we did against Liverpool, right, where we basically snuck it, but we got to win, to playing like we did today?
Struggle to the bottom.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make. It does not make sense. Like, you'd have thought we'd have scored in that actual game a minimum of 1 goal, but most home games we've had this season that we have won from losing, but most home game apart from the ones we've won or we come back, we've always gone 1-0 down. And I said from the start to Craig in the preview video, I said, if they get the first goal, we could be in trouble because 1-0, it could end 1-0. You never know. But as soon as it was 2-0, I was like, oh.
Well, that was after 11 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
we don't like playing the Sunday morning early games, do we? We generally haven't.
Not even that. Like 2-0, like that's a joke in like 12 minutes. But when it was 3-0, I was just stood there just watching on, and I just couldn't believe it.
Max, could I just sum up what you're trying to say in one sentence? Quite simple. We were awful in both penalty boxes today.
Yeah, we were.
That's it.
We were
actually. I'd go further than that.
Well, I tell you now, Solanke, much as he work hard, I tell you what, he thinks it's like it's FIFA, just dribble in the box and take too long. He'd do it, and then you had the Billing today try and do a back heel and think it's bloody Volta. Like, just shoot properly. Like, yeah, I know Bloomin', what's his name? Oh, Fornals, the one that did that, scored with his studs, whatever he did. He did this Bloomin' salmon thing. He just flicked himself at it and just scored. Another thing as well, Neto just stared at it, like in the Brighton game when they were doing step overs in the box when our defence just stopped because he knew he was going to score. Like, we need to stop just standing there. We need to actually start playing properly. Why is he taking so long in the box to make a pass and that? And the amount of times we've given it away today was another reason why we conceded a goal.
Yeah,
it's just I can't put it into words. I'm actually that wound up. And then for me to walk out the stadium with you guys and then ping up 5-0. But luckily it was offside, otherwise that would have made us look even more stupid. But I'm hoping this shoves it.
Oh, that's better.
Oh.
That could be worse. It could be Tottenham supporters today. They went all the way to Newcastle and got absolutely hammered. So, you know.
So yeah, Max is kind of frozen. We are expecting him to disappear, but CD. Hang on, I'm going to mute Max for a second, just whilst it's sorting itself out. His internet is a bit dodgy. He needs to put a couple of more pennies in the meter.
I was about to say you need a bit of faster speed, I think.
Oh, there we go. Whilst we're doing that, CD, I think you'll definitely stay up from a hammer. Thank you. By all means, CD, feel free to get involved. Jamie Williams here.
I think we can say one thing: the hammers aren't going down.
Yes, most definitely. They are on 34 points now. They have got a game in hand on everybody else around them. But like Emma Martin was telling me earlier on, and Emma, I know Emma from school years and years and years ago. That game in hand is against Manchester City of all teams, so yeah, that's going to be difficult. But then again, playing like they are, they're going to give Man City a difficult game.
Everybody's saying Man City's going to win the title. Man City still has to go to Brighton. That's going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah, most definitely. We do have some more comments as well. Max is back in the room. There he is.
I don't know what's going on with my luck today in Bournemouth. I'm telling you now, it's pissing me off.
What's worse, your internet or the way we played?
Both. I'm telling you now, it's really it's agitating me. It is.
It's a blessing for us. Anyway, let's
come on.
Also, just see the comment here from I think he tried to join in the show actually. Chris Strowger wasn't a good game. So yeah, thank you, Chris, for trying to join in. Let's have a look. You're gonna wait till we see this, Max.
Max, you need to
oh dear, Max. It rumbled.
Matt is the world's worst for bringing stuff up like that.
Open the can of worms now.
Special pokey, what's it called?
I think we should move on before we get ourselves.
Not going to say it on YouTube.
Yes, we're going to get ourselves in trouble now. Let's go back to normality in the football. Jack Stevens' worst game for us by a country mile. He was embarrassing today, got bullied by Antonio and lost the duel with Paqueta. Do you know what? Antonio was probably West Ham's best player on the pitch going in that first half, would you say?
He was definitely a handful. Definitely a handful.
And a good finisher too. I mean, he knows how to finish, right? Gets in the box, scores. I mean, the only thing is now, here's an interesting thing. On Thursday, Stevens can't play for us, right? Because he's on loan. So who do we put in the centre?
I would... Zabani, eh?
Sensi's got to come back in, hasn't he?
I think Senesi comes in.
Yeah.
The question is, do you pair Senesi with Mepham, or do you put him in with the Ukrainian guy, Zinebel?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely wouldn't pair him with Kelly.
No.
Oh no, Kelly has to stay on the left. And actually, I think you drop Kelly for the other guy.
Yeah.
100%.
I do agree with that. It'd have to be. That's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, I would say probably. I think with the importance of the game and for his just purely on his experience, I think I'd have to say Mepham.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you're right. Although I think the Ukrainian guy, from what I've heard, is potentially good. But the thing is, do you put him in the game against Southampton, and then we lose, and they could ruin his confidence? So
yeah, that's the problem. So he has a big decision to make there. So I think I'd probably edge towards Mepham. But I can't wait to see this guy because I mean we've seen 4 or 5 minutes of him.
Yeah, and he's meant to be brilliant. He's meant to be outstanding.
I mean, I read in the press that Man City were keeping tabs on him, weren't they? So,
yes.
I mean, you know, if they're watching someone, then they've got to be good, haven't they? So, yeah, hopefully we'll see some of him at some point, because he's meant to be really, really good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say probably Mepham on that one. But Craig, what was I saying to you after the game? I said exactly the same thing. That was the worst I've seen Jack Stevens play today.
Agree. Yeah, completely agree with it.
It's one of those, isn't it? It's, you know, some people are saying, should we sign Jack Stevens? And I think personally we need to go in the transfer market for someone that's, you know, probably better.
I think still maybe we should sign him as like maybe a backup, but I don't know. I rate him. I think he's been very, very good for the majority of this season. But
I mean, Wolves
today,
game, he was absolutely immense at the Wolves game.
yes, he was. Yeah.
But there's other positions that we need first before we need to. We have 4 centre backs. So I mean, I think we sign him maybe, as Craig said, as a backup, but we need a right back, right? We probably need another left back because Fredericks and or Jay-Z, you've lost Jay-Z, so we're going to have a left back too. And I think, I think we need a centre forward. I think we need an old-fashioned centre forward,
out and out goal scorer.
Yeah, because I mean, I love Dom. I think he's a great player. He's very good. He's very talented. He's very hardworking, but he's not a traditional number 9.
Yeah, he's more the kind of player for me that I'd play in behind a traditional 9, because his work ethic, and I think he would create for someone to score goal after goal. I mean, he does all the hard work, Dom, and I think an out and out goal scorer, I'd love to play off him.
And I think they tried that a little bit in the second half with Kiefer, but I don't think Kiefer is at the level that we need. I think we need like an Antonio.
Yeah, I tell you what, Antonio is just a battering ram. He's so strong. He's real quality. And Declan Rice, I thought, was very, very good. You got what you expected with him. But we just didn't cope. Jack Stevens didn't cope in the air. Which is surprising because he's been a lot better than that, and that was one of the reasons why I was so pleased that he come into the side, because Mepham was struggling with it, Senesi was struggling with it. When Stevens come into the side, it seemed like there was that physical presence from balls coming into the box. When, from set pieces, it seemed like we could cope a bit more. That went out the window today. Just a couple more comments as well. Dugout Football Channel. Hello, Doug. Hope you're well, mate. Feel free to come on and get involved. You're more than welcome. So he's put guys 4-0. We do have another one from Jamie here as well. People need to differentiate the games. Spurs weak and counter-attack into open spaces. As soon as West Ham get ahead, they're in compact, deep shape, and we can't play that way. No excuse for 4-0. So, yeah, that's from Jamie Williams. David, we've been comparing everybody. So I look like Paddy from Emmerdale, and
I don't
James
know.
Corden.
I don't want to hear this. Go on.
Matt looks like Omid or David Brent. We've got Alan Stubbs or Uncle Bryn there in the corner. I'm not sure what Max looks like. Max just looks like Max. But David, we've got one for you. David looks like Dave Best from the Royal Family series, the son-in-law. Do you know what? That's one of the better ones, to be fair.
I'm trying to look what Anthony looks like. We need to kind of come up with a look like
Anthony, come on. You've got to come on now. Come on. Anthony is an Arsenal
Actually,
fan.
I've never actually seen
Brilliant.
the Royal Family, so
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
you've
Gotta
got to
go?
go, have you?
I've
All
got
right, Sam. Thanks
guys.
again for coming on, and yeah,
All right.
we'll catch up soon. I'll see you later, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony. Actually, sticking with the royal family theme, Dave Best, isn't that Ralph Little? Was that
No,
Ralph Little?
no, that was Craig Cash.
Craig Cash, yes. Yes, it was. Ralph Little, hang on.
Well, at least there's someone who said I didn't look like Barry Humphries. That would be.
Actually, I can see a resemblance there. Anthony is Ralph Little.
Yeah.
So from
There we go, Anthony. You start giving us insults, we start insulting back.
he's good man, Anthony. So yeah, come on the show, mate. Liam Humby. I would like our wing back and wingers to attack the flanks.
Yep.
Yep, fair point. What else have we got here? We've got Wayne Walden again. I'd just like to say that every game in the Premier League is different week in, week out. Every team has a bad day at the office. Can't disagree with that, can you guys?
Nope.
No.
Let's just put it behind us.
Can't disagree.
If we beat Southampton on Thursday, this game will be a distant memory. Actually, the game I really want to win, I want to beat Leeds because I hate Leeds for what they did to our town so many
They'll
years
probably
ago.
only go and do it again. So what they like, they end up pulling car wind mirrors off and that, and jumping.
I don't know. I don't know if they will do it again. I will admit, I'm amazed that they're playing in a bank holiday weekend. I'm just like, whoever in the football league, Premier League decided that ought to be. Never mind.
Yeah,
but let's hope we beat them.
Is Leeds a 2:00 kickoff?
I don't know.
It is. Yes, it is 2:00 kickoff again.
You know what? I feel like we could be jinxed from 2:00 kickoffs because, not being funny, like we should beat Leeds, but if we don't beat Leeds, then I feel like we could be jinxed on 2:00 kickoffs.
Yeah,
we don't play. Actually, the worst one tends to be like the noon kickoff, right? The 12:30. With those it's like we've had a bad night at the out, and then we just turn up hungover.
Yeah, we've got the Dugout Football Channel. So Doug, come on, Doug. Love to have you on. Have to say, Newcastle smashing Tottenham with 5 goals in 21 minutes was incredible. The Eddie magic carries on, don't it?
I was sitting in a bar, as I said, with Newcastle fans and Bournemouth, and they were just like every 5 minutes they were like, wait,
can we have Eddie back? Is it Saturday?
What, for Leeds?
Yeah.
No, Sunday. It's Sunday. God. Yeah.
I don't like Sunday kickoffs, man.
We've just got. I would probably play 3 at the back on Thursday. Vina and Tavernier wing backs, similar setup to Spurs. Atara in for Christie for pace on the break. Him and Billin just playing off of Solanke. 3-4-2-1.
I think that would actually be a good team for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think Vina. I think we need to start him. I think we'll come to Adam Smith as well. We beat Tottenham too. What's your point?
Oh, he was talking about the Newcastle winning.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yes, we did beat Tottenham. To be honest, that was one thing that we said in the car, wasn't it? Was that by Tottenham getting beat 6-1 today by Newcastle, are Tottenham really that good?
No,
I don't. I think.
How can you go 5-0 down in 20 minutes?
I think they're very, very poor.
When we got done at Anfield 9-0, we weren't 9-0 down, 5-0 down in 20 minutes. It was 3-0.
Not far off.
Yeah,
but there is a difference, and this is actually maybe a criticism of Tottenham, and also could be a criticism of us. When you appoint a number 2 as a manager, they're not. And to be fair, Gary wasn't actually number 2; he was just a coach. But the number 2 is like JT, right? With Eddie, he was the go-between between the players and Eddie, right? He's the one who's talking to the referee, the fourth official, so Eddie doesn't get booked. It's JT who does it. So it's a different role. And then when they become the manager, it's a different relationship with the players. And I think that's part of the problem with Tottenham. The guy who's the number 2 is Conte's number 2. He's not going to do anything different from what Conte did, right? So I think Tottenham needs to decide who they want to be their manager and give them time. But Chelsea's also in trouble too, so they're both going after the same kind of managers.
I can see us getting a result at home against Chelsea, I reckon, because they've been awful. And not being funny, I'd be more happy. I'm really happy that we're playing Southampton away and not at home.
I agree.
When we play them at home, I could be wrong this Thursday, but when we play them at home, we've not beaten Southampton at home. Every time we played them at home the last 5-6 years, we've always lost. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. And I mean, the game we played at home this season, we were crap, right?
Yeah, we're the bogey team. They're our bogey team at home, but away it's completely different because we've got like 3 draws last time we played away, like 1 loss, and then we beat them away 3-1. But it might be different because the team's completely changed since then. Like, not being funny, but it's hard to call because if we beat Southampton, right, because looking on that performance at home we did today, we take a point out of the Leeds game because unless we play really well against Southampton and go into that Leeds game with confidence. So if that's 4 points, that puts us on 37. And then we've got a few more games to get it done because, like, when I was talking to Craig this morning, if we have it all wrapped up by Goodison Park before we get to Goodison Park, it could Everton could all turn toxic in that if their team's losing. It's not a nice atmosphere to be in. Like, I'm just hoping we don't have to go to the last game of the season needing to get anything, like we did in lockdown in 2020 when we were only 1 goal off of staying up. But that was then. But
could you imagine it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we have to go to Everton and it's we need a win to stay up and they need a win to stay up? I mean, I don't want
that. No. That will cause absolute mayhem. I'm not being funny, but everyone in this room, I'm sure, wants to get it wrapped up, especially you, Craig, before Everton, because then you know what? This may sound silly, may not, but if we've got it all wrapped up and we're confirmed as safe, even by Sky, because obviously they say when it's all been worked out in that. What I was going to say was, then we can rest players, can't we, Craig, for pre-season?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if we lose because although it does matter. But at least we can then say we've saved players and rested players. So then we can go into pre-season and then spend some money in the market. Because I know Bill Foley will do that and Michael Jordan. And we can go out onto next season and start strong and hopefully get a mid-table finish or something. I'd like a Conference League.
I don't know if we're not going for mid-table next year.
Yes, but can I just say, if Newcastle have gone from a mid-table team before the Saudis took over and Eddie Howe, they've gone from mid-table to top 4.
I'm saying that with the players we will bring in if we stay up, and I believe we will bring a lot of players in, that we should be.
It's not like Forest. Hopefully, it's not like Forest.
No, it won't be. It won't be like Forest, where you just bring in people just for the money. It's people who've got to fit into the way we want to play as a club, right? I think we could easily go for a top 10, top 6 finish next year. But there was an interesting thing that somebody pasted on one of the Facebook pages today. He's a grandfather who lives in.
Oh, I think we've lost David just at that point. I think we've just lost him at that point. We do have somebody called, although saying that their mic isn't on and their picture isn't on, and they've called themselves Jesus, I'm Spurs. So whoever that is, hopefully David will come back on. So yeah, if you're watching, David, please do jump back on. So I think to be honest, I think we've covered off this game to death. I don't think. Do we really want to cover this in much more detail? This game today as West Ham. There wasn't really much going forwards, was there?
I mean, to be honest, all I can say is I hope they learn from this. And to be honest, we go to Southampton looking like we want to get points, and then we get them points, and then we go again against Leeds, and we go again. Just get as many points as possible, and then we can just sit there and just chill when we're confirmed to staying up, because that was our main target. Because if we do stay up, then we can all shut the haters up that said, "Oh, you're going down. You've got a championship team." Yeah, we may still have a championship team, but we still managed to prove that we're Premier League capable of being in the Premier League. Yeah, the Premier League's hardest league in the world. I didn't see the 4-0 defeat coming today, but you know, it happens. You know, you thought Tottenham. What do you think the odds would have been? Tottenham losing 6-1 to Newcastle. That if somebody put a bet on that, they would have got absolutely thousands back, Craig.
Yeah,
You would have thought that. But all I can say is, yeah, we're all disappointed as Bournemouth fans today. We go again and we give it all at Southampton, and hopefully, obviously, Matt, I think Matt will probably Matt's going, aren't you? You're going to that game, aren't you, Matt? Southampton away.
Sorry, I'm looking at something. What are you talking to me?
You go. Yeah, sorry, mate. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Are you going to Southampton away?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, good luck, mate, going up there and hopefully get 3 points.
Have a run through the stats.
Yeah, go for it. Do you know what? I didn't realise there were some slides that you prepared. So I do apologise, Matt. I've been blabbling on about football. As normal. Go on, you take it away, mate. Sorry, I didn't see it. Genuinely.
It's not much to go over, but let's have a look. Right, the Hammers.
Yeah, ironing out our shirts.
Yeah,
would have been told that.
The cherries, eh? Right. Oh, David's come back in. Do you want to
Oh yes, let's welcome David. Hello, David. You all right? We lost you for a second.
my phone decided that it didn't have enough battery charge. So, no, what it was saying just before I got cut off was that there's this 8-year-old boy who's just signed as a goalkeeper, and his grandfather was like, apparently Portsmouth were interested, and or Brighton were interested, and Southampton were interested, but he signed for Bournemouth, and the reason he signed for Bournemouth was because of the new training ground, and I think that's going to make such a huge difference. If we're getting 8-year-olds committing to our youth team before they are going to Southampton or Brighton, that says a lot for the future. So anyway, that was the point I was trying to make. I mean, I think for me, that's the long-term legacy of all of this, right? If we can have a training ground and an academy that brings the next generation of players through.
Yes.
Craig?
Yep.
Just very quickly.
Craig's babbling on never. Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
Chris, you don't know what it's like.
Yeah, every time in the golf club we barrel on about all sorts, don't we? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Let's carry on with the slides. So, here we go. Last week we had it so right. This week it went horribly wrong. O'Neill, from hero to zero, what did the manager do wrong today? I'll tell you what, you're a poet and didn't know it, Matt. There you go. Go on, you carry on.
I don't know. I think we've discussed off as many of these points as we possibly could, haven't we?
Yep. Well, bringing Philip Billing, keeping Philip Billing on, taking Rothwell off. What's he doing? Even Matt said that. Matt's spot on, like not being funny, because obviously when Matt was saying, "Oh, Philip Billing is one of O'Neill's favourites," yeah, he's got a good left foot on him, but if he's not doing that well, then you bring him off. Whereas it was the complete other way around, where Rothwell was having a good game, like you guys said, and he just subbed him off. Like the tactics just completely went out the window. But not being funny, hopefully, yeah, he made subs like quite early from straight from the second half and in the 60th minute and that. But he's got to get it right against Southampton, because if Southampton we play like that today, how we did, and Southampton played against Arsenal, we're doomed.
He doesn't get it. I think, yes, Harry does have a dog, but the story that we always tell is the story of Jimmy Quinn and the dog walking it
Yeah,
around
well,
Kings Park.
I just think Chris is a little bit excited because he actually got a win yesterday.
Yes, that's what it is.
That they hung on without a penalty appeal and that for Wolves. So
The stats
Go on,
is
read through the
is what it
stats.
is. Do we really want to read through all those stats there?
yeah, I'll read
No.
through them, because not being funny, the amount of shots we had actually surprised me, to be honest, and how we didn't score. West Ham took their chances, Bournemouth didn't. Right, we had a good few saves on that. So obviously we've got possession wise. That you know what that does my head in. That does it sums it up. 64.32% to 35.8, I think, whatever it was. And then shots on target 5 to their 10, 17 shots, 8 and they had 18. Touches 826 to 539. 618 passes to 350. Like, wow. 11 tackles to their 17. 12 clearances, wow, to their 29. 8 corners to their 5. 0 offsides compared to their 3. And going back to that, they scored in the 95th minute and it was ruled out, so that helps. And yeah, 1 yellow card to their 2. And I mean, that yellow card was on Kiefer Moore, wasn't it? When he got a bit wound up and he just dragged
He just dragged that player straight down, didn't he? He was definitely a yellow card all day.
I mean, yeah, he dragged Kurt Zuma down.
The possession don't really mean nothing, because we won
Possession
games.
doesn't score goals unless you create chances of it and put it in the back.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we've won games with less possession, and we better when we counter anyway. So
the only problem with Bournemouth today is they put it in the back of the net. We didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also we didn't exactly defend well, did we?
No, totally.
And the sloppy passes led up to their goals from their crosses and corners.
Yeah. And to be honest, Jamie, here's the nail on the head. We are better with less possession. We are a counter-attack team. In fact, Chris, I believe, will probably remember from our game up at Leicester, we actually had less possession than Leicester, didn't we, that day, if I'm right in thinking?
We did. But we did. We tend to win the games, and that comment's absolutely spot on.
I'm going to have to head off, guys.
Yeah, cheerio then.
All right, cheers, Max. See you later, mate.
All right, bye.
The player ratings there.
David,
do you agree with all of those?
I don't know. Let me just look. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. I mean, I'm not sure. Dango didn't play that well, I don't think. Nobody was covered in glory today, were they?
No.
I think Billing, to be honest, I think he had one of his worst games. Well, if not the worst game he's had this season. It just looks a little bit lost, a little bit devoid of confidence. He needs to get that confidence back, because he is a confidence-based player.
But he's not going to get it playing in the position that he was played in, and that's the manager.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, good point. Spot on. Yeah. Correction, they put it in the back of the net 4 times. Yes, they did put it in our back of the net.
Which is more than Leicester's ever done, right? Oh, sorry.
Although saying that, we can say it, to be fair.
They have won a title,
Leicester did put it in the back of Southampton's net 9 times.
That's true.
So yes. So this is what the gaffer says. Just before we do that, actually, don't agree with Rothwell being so low down, but probably skewed by giving the ball away. He was the only one trying to drive forward and create anything.
And that's exactly why I said,
Agree.
why did he sub him?
He's stupid. That
Why
was
did he take
ridiculous.
off? And this is why I say he falls short sometimes tactically with his substitutions.
He's trying to be too clever.
But it's not just him. I mean, you know, Sean Cooper's there, Tommy's there. I mean, he is the ultimate decision maker, yes. But, you know, I think you have to look at, and that's the other problem too. I mean, I think Sean's a great coach, and I think Tom is a good coach, but they've had very little experience of coaching at this level.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Very fair point.
Yeah. Jamie, by all means, if you do want to come on ever, you know, feel free, because actually it would be interesting to get your input live on camera, because you've made some really, really good points here. Max has got the LTD saying to Chris, we're not in a relegation battle unlike Leicester, mate. Only saying that because we're 5 points clear of it and 5 points in front of Leicester.
And what a disaster for Leicester. I mean, honestly, going from winning the league and the FA Cup to being in a relegation battle, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot of it will be Brendan Rodgers. Come on, Chris, come over and get your camera on and come and tell us about, you know, how your win against Wolves and how it differed from Brendan Rodgers. When did you last win the Premier League? We've never won the Premier League. Neither of you, but you have won the Premier League. We'll be down to 3 points. Oh no.
He's stirring the pot now.
He's stirring the pot. There's a bad. Come on, Chris, get yourself on here. Leicester, a much clear team of Bournemouth, still in a relegation battle. There's a little bit of banter there. Right, shall we move on? Right, let me get rid of the banner.
Who'd want to live in Leicester anyway? I mean, you know.
Well, to be fair, actually, that's why Chris lives in Poole. So there we go. Here we go. So,
well, I was about to say who'd want to live in Poole, but I won't do that.
Well, here we go. Not good enough in both penalty areas. West Ham have a couple of real strengths, and we weren't able to cope with them, basically. Whatever happened in between becomes irrelevant if you're not able to deal with one of their key strengths. David said to me afterwards, obviously it was never a 4-0 game. We obviously dominated the ball. That doesn't win you matches, Gary. But West Ham have real strength that they can attack set plays well. They're physical, they're good in the air, and they can counter-attack. If you don't match their physicality in our penalty area for the first goal or even the second goal, 12 minutes in, 2-0 down, you've not been able to cope with one of their key strengths. And then you've set the game up perfectly for them to sit in as they wanted to and try and catch you on the counter. I disagree with Gary on some of these points, actually. I don't think West Ham sat back. Do you agree with that, guys?
They did a bit in the second half.
They let us have the ball. And they sat back.
But the argument I would make is that he's identifying what the strengths were for West Ham, but we didn't counter that, right?
Exactly.
We weren't dealing with the physicality. Well, okay, that's down to Gary, right? You've got to make the players prepared for the game. And
it's great that he's taken so much notice of West Ham, but he wants to look at what we weren't doing right to be competing with them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's don't really know what to say.
And that's sometimes the problem with Gary, I think, is that he doesn't, and I get it, he doesn't want to criticize his own team, but sometimes it's, today was a bad performance by our team. It wasn't, West Ham was good, but we were shit. And we need to be able to, take accountability for that. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with Gary because he's the manager, or the head coach, or whatever you want to call him. So, again, I think we can air all our grievances. The secret will be on Thursday. Let's hope we come out and win on Thursday. And we play well, and then this will just be a distant memory from the season. I hope.
Chris, anyone know what's happening in Emmerdale? I don't look like him. I really don't. I look nothing like him. Beaten by the better team on the day, pick up and go again. To be honest, you've got to give West Ham credit. David Moyes saying afterwards that it was never a 4-0 game. To be honest,
it could have been 6.
Yeah, exactly. I think West Ham were just that step above us today. They shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been. We should have been able to compete, but it's the way we set up was just wrong.
Don't you also think, though, and I think this is true too, I mean, today we didn't deserve anything. So although I feel bad and it was awful and stuff, at least we didn't deserve anything. I thought it feels worse like against Arsenal when we were winning and we were playing well and we didn't get anything. That feels a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally agree.
Let's have a look at the next slide. O'Neill continued. And then on the flip side of that, we arrive in the final third, create a lot of chances, and aren't good enough to stick any away at the moment. If you want to look at the real reason West Ham beat us today, is because their strengths we couldn't cope with. That's true. But like you said, David, there's a lot of focus on their West Ham, and okay, their strengths. That's why they've beaten us. But we knew before West Ham rolled up. We knew about Mikel Antonio. We knew about Paqueta. We saw the other day Paqueta and how well he can play. We know what Declan Rice can do in the centre of midfield, and we didn't cope with any of that.
No, and that goes down to how you've been prepared for the game, right? How you've been set up for the game, So either the players didn't execute Gary's plan, or the plan wasn't good enough in the first place. And I have a feeling it was a little bit of both, right? The players didn't play well. That we're clear of. But at the end of the day, it's up to Gary to make sure the plan is executed, and it wasn't. So, but we move on. As I said,
Definitely.
beat Southampton, beat Leeds, we'll be happy.
Yep, most definitely, and that's I think what we've got to look on to next. So the weekend's results: Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. That was a shock for me. I expected Arsenal to destroy Southampton, didn't you?
But don't you think, though? So look at it in reverse way. If Southampton had won that, they would be coming in with full of confidence, and I'd be really worried. But they gave up 2 goals at the last minute, right? And really should have got 3 points out of that. How do you think they're going to feel coming into the game against us?
Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. They probably have a little bit more confidence after seeing that.
But I think, if they'd won, they would have had a lot more confidence. I mean, they can, they really, Arsenal screwed that up. I mean, there's no, what Ramsdale was doing with that.
That first goal, he put him straight on the back foot, wasn't he?
It's just like, yeah, well, whatever.
We have got the Saturday results. Fulham beating Leeds, that was good. Brentford drawing against Aston Villa. Not really too bothered about that. Palace and drawing with Everton. At the end of the day, I don't think Everton look that great. Palace are out of it. Leicester beating Wolves. Chris is probably smiling from ear to ear in the comment section at this moment in time. And Liverpool beating Nottingham Forest 3-2. Although Liverpool seemed to be a bit subpar again. It had to be said. And of course, the 2 big results. Ourselves getting beat by West Ham and Newcastle thrashing Spurs 6-1, which really shows. And this is what it does to the league table. So effectively, you look at it. Strangely, we're still one of the formed teams in that mix, aren't we?
It's not over though. I mean,
It's not.
you know, you look. If we lose, say we lose the next two, hopefully we won't. Then we're back in it again, right? Because Leeds will be above us then probably, and Southampton will be within spitting distance. We can't afford to lose to Leeds or to Southampton. We've got to get at least a point, and ideally we need at least 4 points from that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the slides. Of course, 5 points above Everton, 6 above Forest, and quite a bit still.
And our goal difference also took a hammering today too.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with it.
Right. I mean, just imagine it comes down to us or Forest, and Forest beats us out on goal difference.
Well, they're the only team that have. Well, it's only slight though. It's only slight. So yeah. So that comes to the end of that list. We have got a load of comments that was going up. There was a load of things about jesting aside, you guys will be fine. Jamie, he's.
I was about to say they won't.
I think Leicester will be all right, actually.
You do?
But
Who do you think will go down?
myself, I think it'll be Forest, Southampton, and I think it's going to be between Leeds and Everton. Leeds are on free fall, and Everton just can't seem to buy a win at the moment. And if you actually, this is an interesting fact. I was having a look with Max at the amount of points that Everton had. When Frank left. To be honest, Sean Dyche hasn't really done that much better. I don't think he's done better at all, actually. I think he's less. So I will get Max to clarify that for the next show, but I think that's where we're up to. But Thursday will suit us more as we can play on the counter attack. Southampton will need to attack the game, so hopefully we can exploit the spaces behind them. Very, 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 very true. Because they need to win this game.
As long as we don't concede 2 quick goals and are chasing the game.
Exactly. Southampton need to win this game, so effectively that could be quite true. Champions League Bournemouth, I think we were getting a little bit hopeful there. Who's winning the league,
Hey,
lads?
Sam, put the beard down.
Arsenal. Arsenal are going to win the league. What's all this?
I think the league's. I think the league's going to come down to the last game of the season.
Yeah, Man City, I'm afraid, Ant.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think City.
I think it'll be Arsenal.
Because City and Arsenal got to play each other, haven't they?
Next on Tuesday, on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I just have a sneaking feeling Arsenal are going to be up for that one, and I just want to see anybody but City win. So
I prefer Arsenal to win it, but I think there's something. I think Arsenal just blown too many points lately.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a younger team, and the inexperience is showing, and the pressure is showing. But I hope that Pep is more interested in winning the European Champions League. That's the one he really wants to win.
Yeah, definitely. So let's have a look at the next slides. So, what does Declan Rice's future hold?
Bye.
Will he move to a top 4 club?
Yeah.
We did discuss this, didn't we?
Well, I was hoping that we'd actually have some West Ham fans on here, like you promised, Craig. So this was more of a question for them.
Yes. Well, we did have some West Ham fans earlier on. So maybe we should have.
Pop in the comments, West Ham fans.
Pop in the comments.
I think he's gone. There's no way he stays up. He wants to win. It's like what's his name? The Villa player who went to Man City.
Grealish.
It's like Grealish. Grealish wants to win titles, and I think Declan will want to win titles. He's not going to do it at West Ham. So I think he leaves. I think Kane leaves Spurs. Yeah.
I think it's going to be difficult for them to keep hold of Declan Rice, but I think he loves that club. He does love that club, but I think money's going to talk, and I don't think he's going to win as many trophies as he probably wants to or deserves to at West Ham, unfortunately.
And I think that's what Kane is going to realise at Tottenham. He's never going to win anything at Tottenham. So,
well, especially after what happened to him today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's probably all there is really to say on that. I think it's probably best. Oh, crikey. Chaz Dingle. Is Chaz Dingle something from Emmerdale?
Yes.
Chaz Dingle. I'm going to have a look at Chaz Dingle now, because I tell you what.
Rice on his way to Arsenal.
Chaz Dingle.
That would be interesting, actually, if he decided. If he went to Arsenal, that probably would have hurt West Ham more than anything, right? The fact he's going to Arsenal. But I could see him fitting there.
Just looking at Chaz Dingle, she doesn't look a very happy being, does she?
A bit like us after watching 4 weeks after watching the game.
I think we better round it up there. But David, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And please, please, please do come on for more.
Yeah, I'm glad you do that. I'm glad you do that. I know Sam used to do them. I think he's moved away from doing them. So I think you guys are doing this. It's a good chance to get your frustrations out after watching that game. So
yeah, you'll have to come on here after every match. It'll be
good.
I
want to come on after a win. That would be better, right?
Yes. I tell you what. When are we doing our Southampton one?
I believe we will be doing that on Friday evening.
Friday evening.
Oh no, we won't be doing it on Friday evening.
Well,
yes, we will be. We will be doing it on Friday.
Yeah,
evening.
let's
be doing it Thursday
let's
night.
do it on Friday evening. Because of course Matt is up at the game, Sam's at the game. I'm trying to get myself at the game as well. Jamie is going to be in Yates's. So yeah. And oh my word, this is. Hold on, drum roll for this. This is a dog joke. What do you call a chicken looking at a lettuce? Chicken Caesar salad.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
That's good as Bournemouth playing today.
Is that to cheer us up after that dire watch we've had to go through today?
I think so. So yeah, we have had it all again. So we've had Chaz Dingle, we've had Paddy Kirk, we've had David Brent, we've had Bryn from The Office, we've had the Raw family. We've had it all. So yeah, thank you everybody. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that as well, because it does mean a hell of a lot for us. But David, just before you go as well, you do run a Facebook group as well, don't you?
Well, yeah. So we have a North American Cherries page, which has mainly people from the United States and Canada. We've got a few Brits on it too.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, and a few others. And we used it. NBC does a big fan fest over here 3 or 4 times a year, so we use it to kind of get groups to go into that. We're hoping that we'll still be here next year so that we can go to more fan fests. Last one was in Orlando, which was a great place to go. And yeah, I will say we have supporters, but not like Wrexham. Wrexham have tapped into the market like anything. I mean,
yeah.
And I think we will with the new ownership. It's interesting with the new ownership. I think they're trying to be careful of how Americanized they want to make it. And I know some people today were criticizing the video at the beginning and saying it was too American. So that's going to be an interesting play. How American can you actually make the sport? You gotta be careful. So
yeah, definitely.
What do you call it? Oh no.
Well, at least the commenters have put a smile on our faces, and one from Chris. Harry's dog. No,
Harry's
the story was about Jimmy Quinn's dog. What Jimmy Quinn used to do, and this is, I tell you what, Chris loves this story. What Jimmy Quinn was supposed to used to do is when he was taking training sessions, take his dog for a walk round the pitch. So didn't actually take the training sessions at all. I believe that is a true story, but
well, it's better
one
than
of those.
It's better than Harry's dog who ate the tax forms, right?
Well, please do remember to hit the like, the subscribe, the bell button. Oh, Chris has had enough of the dog stories. Hit the like, the subscribe, the bell button to this channel. Every subscription does mean the world to us, so thank you. But until the next show, up the cherries, and we'll see you then.
See you guys.
See you soon, guys. Take
Bye.
care.